more of her.
Cussing is
How
allowed.
about don't say words? No, girl.
I cuss a lot as it is.
I need another one. Go get it, girl. There's not a waitress here. Okay. I want to say,
Okay, if everybody could just give me a mic check real quick. Gerald, Alina, can y'all grab y'all's mics? Viene. Testing. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. Wait, what?
Cantando se alegre cielito lindo los corazones.
That's pretty good.
remember this. You're going to do their podcast. You don't know.
Don't worry, I'm gonna edit that out.
Oh, come on.
Oh, I was talking about her comments.
I'm new to this, so I'm sorry.
All right, where's my?
Megan, are you okay? Okay.
Fantastic, fantastic. All right.
Can you hear us in the back or the front?
From the side.
Look alive, Marty.
Turn mine up a little bit. I don't know if I want to. It's already like on the mic level. I can just speak into it. All right, here we go. Ready? Good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome everybody to So Bonita. Big round of applause. We are here in Corpus Christi. My name is Rodrigo Bravo. I'm a producer for Nuestra Palabra out of Houston, Texas. And what we're doing right now, we have an American Tacos tour. I have several people here. Jose Relat is the author of American Tacos. I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody shortly. But I want to let everybody know that we are filming this live right now. We're live streaming on YouTube, on Instagram, as well as on Twitter. So if you check us out, give us a like, do all that good stuff. It will also premiere. It will also show on 90.1 FM KPFT. That's Houston's community radio station at 100,000 watts there in Houston. It'll be also available on their website for the live stream. Additionally, this episode will be available on a podcast on Nuestra Palabra. You can go ahead and follow us on Instagram at Nuestra Palabra and get a little bit more information there. But we're here celebrating American Tacos at So Bonita here in Corpus Christi, Texas, and we're having a discussion panel about cultura, tacos, y más. That's what we're here for. Of course, I have some amazing people here with me. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and introduce everybody with their bios. And we're celebrating Jose Relat's American Tacos. He has a new revision to the book coming out in June. And we're going to have a party there in Dallas. But we're doing the pre-tour right now, the barnstorming tour. And Jose Relat, let me go ahead and introduce Jose through his bio. He is Texas Monthly's taco editor, for which he writes about Mexican food and food culture. He is also the author of American Tacos, A History and Guide. Relat has written for Eater, Imbibe, D Magazine, Vice, Gravy, and other national and regional online and print media outlets. He is also a two-time James Beard Foundation Media Award winner, y'all. Big round of applause for Jose. And I just wanted to mention that Jose is the first Latino in the non-food category, correct, to get a James Beard Award. And he is the first person ever to get a consecutive back-to-back James Beard Award. So one more round of applause for Jose for doing that. Well, take a swig. And to his right is Viene Rodriguez. She is an award-winning food blogger, recipe developer, and the author of Latin Twist, a collection of nearly 100 delicious Latin-inspired cocktails, and the forthcoming Tex-Mex slow cooker. It's already out? Okay, great. Fantastic. It's a gorgeous cookbook filled with 100 incredible Tex-Mex recipes that you can easily make at home in your slow cooker. She is a native of South Texas and shares the region's vibrant and unique cultura here on Sweet Life. We really appreciate her being here. When we talk about doing these tours, and we'll talk a little bit more about the tour, we want to reach out to the community. And one thing that Jose was really adamant about was tapping into local talent. That includes authors, that includes cooks, poets, so forth. So Vianney, thank you so much for being with us. Round of applause for Vianney. Oh, that's right. That's right. We want to. I want to go ahead and introduce Miss Elena Flores. She is the owner of So Bonita. So Bonita's here, Cultura Shop here in Corpus Christi, Texas. I've had the pleasure of being here a couple times, and every time I come over here, it just grows and grows and becomes much more of a cultural hotspot for not only the local community, but here in Texas. So definitely appreciate what Elena's been doing. She was born and raised in the border town of Eagle Pass, Texas, and currently lives in Corpus Christi, Texas, with her husband, Gerald Flores, and her 4 furry children. The start of So Bonita, she started sewing ventures in November of 2014 as a hobby. Oh, somebody said, woo. Oh, somebody's watching. That's why they're watching. It's feedback. Yeah. It's okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. She started as a sewing venture in November of 2014 as a hobby, y'all, and attended several classes, but for the most part is self-taught. She also likes to craft and create things that are bright, bold, and beautiful and full of shine. She's obsessed with every part of Mexican culture, the food, the decor, the color, the music, and traditions, and so much more. Really, really impressive that she is self-taught, and even more impressive that she did this started as a hobby. And I really think that's a point of inspiration for people out there that love something so much, but maybe have some imposter syndrome or don't believe in themselves. Elena Flores is testimony in believing in yourself and making it happen. Big round of applause for Elena. And last, and certainly least, Gerald. No, I'm kidding. I'm on stage, so, I'm the least. Oh, she gave me the look, y'all. She gave me the look. Ya la regué. I'll edit that out. Don't worry. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and redo this, okay? And now last, but certainly not least, according to his mother, Gerald Flores. Literally. Gerald Flores created the brand Taco Gear for his love for both graphic design and, of course, tacos. Like many Latinos, tacos are a huge part of his life. They represent his culture and so much more. And, of course, tacos bring people together. When he started this, he couldn't really find any T-shirts or hats about tacos that he liked. So what did he do? He decided to make his own. That's how Taco Gear was born, and it's been a crazy and fun journey ever since. An incredible, the other half of a power couple here in Corpus Christi, Texas. He is the owner of Taco Gear. You can see some of his articles right here. Elena has been so gracious to give you a small little space over here in the store. Thank you so much, Elena. For free, too, y'all. And one last round of applause for their anniversary that is coming up tomorrow. Yeah. Congratulations to the two of you. So you're how many years? 12 years. A lot. Well, you're probably wondering what we're doing here today, but we are here to celebrate Cultura. And it starts off with the book, Jose Rolat's American Tacos. He's having the second revision dropping this summer. Really appreciate y'all if y'all visit nuestrapalabra.org. We have more information about that here. But we're going to have a talk today about Cultura, Tacos, y más. And so, I'm going to really want y'all to highlight y'all stories. I gave a small snippet of each one of y'all stories, but I think what's really important is that we talk about those humble beginnings, how it happened, and then all the way till now. How is the Cultura, not only from a regional or regional viewpoint, but also here in the city? I want to talk about that. I think Corpus is booming. I've come over here and I've seen it grow, but that's from an outsider perspective. Maybe there's something else that y'all can add to tell Texas why Corpus Christi is becoming a cultural hub when it comes to Latinidad. So first of all, I'll start off with Jose. Jose, congratulations once again on your book coming through. It's been a journey, not only just coming from starting off as blogging and writing and so forth and having your own website, but then coming full-fledged to becoming the taco editor for Texas Monthly into your book. Tell us a little bit about how that came about. I think one of the stories that people don't know is that there never was a taco editor position before. And not only that, you actually had the gall, the audacity, some would say, to actually suggest to the powers that be, hey, I want to be the taco editor. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, I have a hard time being told no.
I know.
I don't like hearing that word when it comes to my work and to my goals. And as a little aside, a young journalist once asked me how I got to where I was, and this was years ago. I said, literally, blood, sweat, and a lot of crying late nights. He quit.
Really?
He quit being a journalist. I said, that's what it takes is perseverance and stubbornness. And that's basically what got me here with the help of some friends. So in 2015, I was working as a co-editor for Texas Monthly's Best Tacos of that year. And I just said, hey, you guys want a taco editor? Because they already had a barbecue editor. And the editor-in-chief at the time said, that's a great idea, but we're working on the budget right now. It turns out they were being sold to another company. So for 4 years, I freelanced, and I brought it up again and again and again, till eventually they said, okay. It went from overnight, we're going to make you a contract writer, to full-time staff writer. And my first question was, do I have to relocate to Austin? And they said, we prefer you not. I said, oh, thank God.
Where do you live now?
I live in Dallas.
Oof.
I love it there. I walk out of my door and all I hear is Spanish. Yeah. You probably don't hear Spanish.
Well, I live in San Antonio, Texas, so yes, I do hear plenty of Spanish over there. But I think that's just a testament to just being persistent to your dreams. You know, you knew what you wanted, you knew what you had, what it took, and being persistent. And I think that's really interesting that you said that there was already a barbecue editor, but they hadn't considered maybe a taco editor, especially in the state of Texas, right? I mean, I understand barbecue editor. I'm not trying to tell the, hey, fire the barbecue editor. I'm not trying to say that. But you definitely need a taco editor as well if you're here in the state of Texas and you expect readers to take you seriously as a food source of food information.
Yeah. Well, taco editor is just a fuzzy title for someone who writes about Mexican food and the food culture, as well as the people behind it all. Thanks. Yeah, the food's great, but the food is practically meaningless without the people. So, yeah, tacos are good, but so what? Let's hear about why they're good. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I think there's been a common saying before that I've heard before is they want the tacos but not the vatos, right? They want the tacos, they want the food, they want to celebrate that, but they don't want the people that actually make the food, And I hate this vatos because obviously there's taqueras, that are out there that are doing big work. There's women that do amazing work. In fact, Vianney, you've done some amazing work. You actually were invited to the White House at one point and went to the White House. and you've written several books now and have been a major top Latina blogger when it comes to the food scene. Tell us a little bit about your journey coming there and getting there and how it felt to actually make it to the top. Because if you get invited to the White House for anything, it basically means you're at the top of your game.
Thank you. Sorry. So
Oh, you gotta eat the mic.
Yes. Okay. So I think a lot of what I do touches back to what Jose was saying, that what is the background of the food. Like I concentrate on the stories of like my tia did it like this, my memory, everything that I share is resonates from a memory, a smell, my mom, my abuelita's cocina. So I focus on cocina casera. So it's all the food that all the matriarchs in our family have been cooking from generation to generation.
Yes.
And anytime you think of the taco, to me, it just resonates so much because clearly remember my mom in the morning getting up and making tacos to pack my dad for lunch.
Yep.
Packing them for, my lunchbox had a taco de frijol.
Yep.
And I used to think, oh my gosh, I'm going to class with the taco de frijol. But they were lining up to trade me for a bologna sandwich. So I knew my mom was onto something, you know? So it's all of that. And that's what I focus on. Because if you praise the taco, but you don't stop and think about all the hands that went into making the taco. The abuelita, la tía, cómo se hizo la salsa, la carne, el comal, the ingredients. You really remove us from the taco. And I love that you're doing that. You're sharing these stories because if you don't share these stories, we disappear. And that's what I don't want. I want my culture to go on for next generation. I want my sopita, my fideo, my carne guisada. I want it to go on and on. Yes. So what I share everything online on a blog, and I share recipes and through my cookbooks and social media. And like Elena says, every Monday I cook a pot of beans because my abuelita did that and my mom did that, and we eat it through the week, all our meals. So if I carry these traditions and I share them on social media and I share how my abuelita did this, and you know, people write me and it's like, I never had a chance to write down the recipe my tia wrote, but thank you for sharing that. Do you have a recipe for this? So now it's to the point where it's like, mija, así lo vas a hacer. Mija, it's like I'm in my señora era where I'm teaching all the future cocineras, because I consider myself a cocinera. I'm teaching them all the fideos, los guisados, and everything casera because that's such an important part of our story, and I want that to live on. So,
A round of applause for that. I appreciate that so much. Vianney, you touched on something that's super important, and I think something that often gets lost. I was actually at a reading recently by poet Anel Flores, and Anel was talking about the importance of documenting our history. And we all can do a part in documenting our history. What does that mean? That means maybe you're not a writer like Jose, but maybe you are a cook, and you're passing down those traditions. Maybe you sew, you craft, and you're passing down those traditions. And I think it's super important that we do our part to make sure that we record that history, because that's how we pass it down. Tell us a little bit more about your trip to the White House. I know that you've done so much, but I found it so inspiring that you were at the top of your game, or you are at the top of the game. That yes. Oh, definitely. Please hey, that's you're absolutely correct on that. Tell us a little bit about that and how that happened and how that manifested, and how did you feel being at the White House? I'm not particularly aware of these circumstances. Were you the only Latina that was there?
what they did is they selected 100 Latinas from across the state of the United States.
Oh my God, that's even more amazing. That's man.
Every girl focused had their focus. Like one was beauty, one was a mother, one was parenting, one was a librarian. I was the cocinera. So it was like we were able to speak of why we're sharing our culture, because it was how she parents, like no sana sana polita rana, like the books, how we want our books to move on. And I spoke about the food, and I said pretty much what I just said right now. And I was like, I cannot have my culture erased without, because somos de maíz. We are the food. This is in our heart, and I want this to go on. So that's what I spoke of, and I was very nervous, but I was like, just speak from the heart. Lo que sale, sale. So it was a wonderful experience. I had a great time. I got to connect with so many Latinas that I still talk to today. So it was one of my best experiences.
And that's amazing. And and that also illustrates the importance of making sure that we come together as community, because we can share our skill sets, we can share our knowledge, and you end up finding people that maybe, hey, you want to collaborate on something, you want to do something, etc. So thank you so much for sharing that, VNA. And Elena is also doing her part in making sure that she keeps the cultura alive. I mean, we are here in So Bonita right here in Corpus Christi, Texas. And from my part, when I first came over here, I was already like, wow, this is amazing to have so much cultura, so much Latinidad, so much me in the store, you know. And now I come today, and I'm like blown away, like, oh my gosh, she grew up, you know, like, like there's just so much, like, yeah, we did, yeah, yeah. And I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. This is, Mijita's growing up, you know. So, but yeah, yeah, she's that. Hey, that'd be amazing. So, but we are here in what I would consider definitely the cultural mecca of Corpus Christi. Because if you need anything, Latinidad, anything Chicanismo, anything Mexicanidad, it is here. You can find it here at So Bonita. And Elena, of course, I read a little bit of your bio, and you said that it started off as a hobby. And I think I am 100% sure that when people see this video, because we're gonna also intersperse some pictures of the actual store in the video, when they are seeing it, they're gonna like, how the hell did a hobby turn into this? And I think that's the question. And tell us a little bit more about that, because I'm definitely inspired by that. And I'll finish off right here. I remember when the first time I came over here, I asked you about some of the fabrics because I was thinking, oh, my son's gonna love this, you know. And I thought, I thought it was just amazing that I can come somewhere and I could find things that just spoke to me and that I know would speak to my family. So tell us a little bit more about the genesis of So Bonita, the genesis of this hobby that turned into what's now a cultural icon here in Corpus Christi.
So when it started as a hobby, right, as I was just sewing on the side, I had a full-time job, and then we started doing pop-ups. So I think the one word that changed the trajectory of our store was when people or women were taking and redefining the word chingona. And so we made a shirt. Being married to a graphic designer has its perks. And so I was like, hey, make me a shirt. So he made me a shirt, and then people were like, oh my God, where can I get this? And I was like, oh, I think we're onto something. And so we combined the two, the t-shirt designs along with sewing. And that's how So Bonita was born. We put a website. And again, we were both still employed, working full time. And my dream was always to open a store. I was inspired by the stores in California, by the stores in San Antonio. It's like, why isn't that representation here in Corpus? Because there's so much of it already, as far as the people are concerned. And after that was 2014, and we opened our store, our first little shop in 2021. So a lot of there could be like it happened so fast, but when I tell you that there was so much sacrifice to be able to do this, like money saving, we didn't open the store with any loans or any debt. It was literally just saving, time management, and staying focused on our goals. And then once I quit my job full time, was able to do this, my next goal was to have my husband here full time. Like, how can we pay ourselves? Because we need to make money. At the same, we need to make an income, you know. And so that's what we were able to do. But the thing about So Bonita is what we wanted to create a place of culture and community. I'm from the border. I'm Tex-Mex through and through. I'm de aquí and de allá. So you're going to find a Taylor Swift sticker, and then you're going to find a jar salsa. That's who I am. It's very Tex-Mexy. That's how I identify. Is I'm Mexican and I'm an American. And there's a lot of people, especially younger generations here in Corpus, that identify with that too. And so we want to be able to bring a little bit of that flavor, of that sabor, of like you can find things from Puebla or Oaxaca here, but again, you find a taco coin purse. I mean, it's just stuff like that I think resonates because being in Texas, especially in South Texas, and for me coming from South Texas, it's very Tex-Mex. I was always crossing the border for food or for doctors, and then coming to stateside. So it was always to and from, and so it's a relationship with both countries, and that's what's represented here.
I love that. Round of applause for that. Yeah. I think it's so important that we take a lesson from that because what she's talking about is a reflection of who she is. She didn't see herself out there in the world. There's plenty of stores you can go to if you want to pick up crafts, if you want to pick up fabric, shirts, or whatnot. But Elena did not see herself in those products. She didn't see something that said, "Hey, that speaks to me." And what she did was like, "F it, I'm gonna do it myself then." You know, and I think that's very important to know to realize it to take inspiration from. The other thing that I wanted to say was I really love that you started off with that word chingona. I'm a strong believer in the reclamation of words, reclaiming what's used against us, empowering that word for ourselves. And chingona, back in the day, that was a bad word, right? Nobody would have asked bien chingona, no quieres andar con él, como, yeah, see, so that was a word, right? But we would use that, especially in a very patriarchal sense, to tell women like, hey, you're not in your place. They have the chingar, no seas chingón, this and that. And what did women do like yourself? And we're gonna flip that shit. And we're gonna say, hey, yeah.
Also around the same time where like Lizzo came out and she was like saying that she was a bad bitch. It's like, oh, okay, so bitch is not a bad word anymore. We're changing the narrative. Women started taking ownership of that. So, that's what we like. Oh, she is a bad bitch. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's important because it flips the script. It lets us take control of those definitions. Oftentimes, we are identified by these words, right? And then we say, well, that word doesn't define us. Okay, that's great, but the word is still being used. Well, you know what? How about we redefine the word? So when we reclaim those words, we reclaim those ideas, and we make it our own. I think there's beauty in that, and I think there's perseverance in that, and it's very heartfelt when I see that. Elena, tell us a little bit more about the store itself. I know that you've changed one location to another. I know that sometimes it can be a little hard starting up a business and getting to the point that you're at. Can you share maybe one struggle that you recall right now that that you were just like, oof, wait, just one, Elena, just one.
Yeah, it's a struggle every day. No, I mean we're still navigating our lives because we're so busy, and even when we're closed Mondays and Tuesdays. Even on those days, we're still working. Even though we're not physically here, we're working on our website, or we're making things, or we're designing, or we're in phone calls and meetings and emails, and so it's nonstop. The work is nonstop. It's not going to take care of itself. And here's the other thing: is that it's just him and I. Like we don't have employees, and so typically we have our girlfriends that are helping.
Hey, shout out to the girlfriends! Woo! They're holding it down with Elena Joda. Oh, y'all can say that. I won't say it. Yes. Hey, that's all you. I'm not gonna make that mistake. She's giving me that look.
With the help of our family and our friends, we're able to even go on vacation or something, But for the most part, it's just me and him, and I'm finding a rhythm of navigating the store, merch, ordering, packing orders. That's about, and and just getting ready for our community. It's a nonstop. It's nonstop work.
I thought you were going to talk about the struggle that you faced when you tried to go to institutions to help you as a small business.
Well, yeah, that's another thing is I went to thank you, John. I went to a local small business
Not to be
development.
named.
Well, no, I'm not naming it. A small business development center for Alliance. When I had the idea of opening this store, I'm telling you, this has been in the works for over 12 years. This store, and they were like, "Well, do you have any collateral?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." And they said, "Well, so you can get a loan. No one's going to give you a loan if you don't have collateral, and you can't use your house. I think there's a law that they put in Texas that you can no longer use your house. That's collateral." And I was like, "Well," and she was, "It's impossible. You're never going to have this. Is never going to happen." And I was like, "Really? Like, there's not any like grants for minorities or women or like really? This is." So I was like, "Fuck this. I'm going to do this on my own." Yeah. And so that's when I was telling her, "Okay, let's come up with a game plan." And then we came up with a spreadsheet and how we saved money and how we were able to budget and still budget when we're focused on ordering product. But yeah, there was a struggle with the doors were shut in my face. They were basically telling me, "I'm broke. It's not gonna happen. Well, how do all these other small businesses start? How does a car wash get built? I mean, I don't know. Like, how is this happening? Surely they're getting funding from somewhere, and if it's not available for me, then why give it? You know, so.
And I think that illustrates some of the the roadblocks that women owners, that minority owners have to face often navigating a system that really wasn't designed for us for the most part. You know, many of these systems, when it comes to finances and so forth, are built for people that already have money, and that's great if you already have money. But a lot of us are dealing with, we don't have money. We have our family, as you just suggested. We have resources. And then we save. And so I think this is really important to just note that. And I wanted to share that because that's why it makes it so much more important that we support businesses like So Bonita, small businesses that represent the community. Look, you're going to be able to find a shirt online, probably a little less expensive on Amazon or whatever this is the case, for maybe $1 less, and maybe even get it shipped, a day earlier or whatnot. But that's not the point. When you spend that extra dollar, you're giving it to a business that gives back to the community, that represents the community, and that is in it for the community's best interest and not just extracting value. So I want to definitely recommend that everybody go to the website. I'll give shout outs and everything. Y'all can tell, y'all's sites and everything, but make sure that y'all support your local businesses, whether it is in Corpus Christi, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, whatever it is. Support these local businesses. In fact, that's why we have Four Corners Brewing right here. Everybody got a little drink, right?
Where are they from?
They're from Dallas.
That's right.
And so we'll talk a little bit about Four Corners, but we appreciate them kind of helping us out with the beer. And we have a few other folks that have participated in helping us out, pull this event out. But before we get to that, I want to go ahead and talk to the other half of the Flores family right here, Gerald Flores, who is a graphic designer. And as I mentioned, also the owner of Taco Gear, that you can see some of his product right here. Gerald, I think everybody kind of sees that, this is a team effort. I know that y'all work in tandem with that, but tell us a little bit about Taco Gear itself and how it started. I know that when I read your bio, I said, hey, you couldn't find anything that really reflected tacos. You wanted something that, what, and small note, we have a model on the stage right now. He is wearing one of
This is many tacos. It's in salsa.
But Gerald, share a little bit about your journey to getting to here, where you have a really a state and nationally recognized brand. I've seen folks. I told Jose the other day, I saw somebody with a Taco Gear hat at an airport in Denver, and I couldn't stop him. He would have thought it was a creep. He's like, oh, this guy. But I saw the hat. I was like, oh my God, that's a Taco Gear hat. And I saw somebody. I took a picture actually, and I meant to send it to you. But I saw somebody at the Borderlands Shakespeare Collectiva conference I was at this week. There at Texas A&M San Antonio, and he had a Taco Gear hat as well. So it was amazing to see that. And this is, this is God telling me, like, yeah, Taco Gear is going big. Tell us about when it was small. Tell us about when it started and why you started it.
So the interesting thing about like when it started was, I mean, obviously it's because you're a graphic designer, you always play and you always have fun with whatever you're designing outside of your client work. And I literally, like you read before, I just wanted a shirt that said tacos on it, and I couldn't find one that wasn't cheesy. You know what I mean? One that wasn't made. It wasn't made for you. You know what I'm saying? So I just made one, and I really just put on Instagram. This is when Instagram was showing you everyone you followed. When the
algorithm was great.
was chronological. So that was back in 2014, and I remember I think my Instagram had like maybe 100 and something followers. And I remember the day when I started. This is when you could hashtag, and it actually really went far with things. So when people ask like, how do you start a brand now? I'm like, man, it's a lot harder now. But I literally just made a shirt and a hat, and Jose, I think either in 2014, 2015, found it right away, very early on, and he was actually nice enough to put an ad for it on his blog for free. And I don't know, am I still on the blog?
It exists.
But it was on there for a very long time, and I thought that was so nice.
And it's still there.
Okay. So really that it was an interesting journey. It was because I wanted to wear it, right, and I put it out there, and then was sad finding it. It's amazing how many people I've met and connected with because of the brand. DNA being one of them as well. That's how we met. And then Mondo with Tacos in Texas. I met him. It all grew just through meeting people and everyone sharing it, and Instagram being nicer to brands back then. But people wearing it, and it's a funny thing because when you're wearing a shirt that says anything about tacos and someone else's, it's just you're smiling, or you talk about it, or you either start to talk about your favorite one, or have you tried this place, or have you tried that place? So it's a conversation starter, and it's fun. It's a fun shirt to wear. All the different ones that we have, but it's grown ever since, just from organically, pretty much. I think I've always wanted to keep it like an indie brand. I've People ask like, you don't want it to like grow and explode, and I'm like, I guess if I really wanted to throw a ton of money at it, maybe. But I like the fact that it's an indie brand because it's just me doing it. And one of the benefits, which we're really technical now, one of the ways it was easy to grow was I started using a drop shipper, which a lot of people do now as well. So I didn't have to purchase a lot of things. I was able to test out designs because not everything works. You know, I wasn't doing 100 shirts and then push to sell those 100 shirts. But man, I had these other designs I wanted to do. I was able to release designs every week or every couple of weeks and see what sells and take off what doesn't. And you learn a lot. But the people that I've met through the brand, I think are some of my favorite times. But honestly, also, to be 100% upfront, I wasn't as connected to my culture at that time until I started making shirts about it. Because then, meeting Jose or meeting Mondo or meeting DNA, you start to really look at the food more than just food, right? Like you guys are talking about the people and all that stuff. And then it turned into me doing like a little web documentary series called The Taco Trail, where I started interviewing different people and tacos they like, and some of them are cooks, some of them are creatives, they're all different. Not to brag, but that one won several awards as well, which I'm very proud of. Because
Yeah.
but what's cool about that is like those awards aren't just for what I did, those awards are for the stories that were told. So the stories that were told resonated with the judges. And I think that's more important than anything. It wasn't the way I shot it, it was the stories that were told, which I think is how you win stuff. You know what I mean?
That, thank you so much. Look at a round of applause to Gerald for that. Yes. I think it's so important to realize what he just said right now, the power of community, getting people together and him putting an ad connecting with Jose, and Jose saying, "Hey, yeah, no problem. I'll share my platform with you," and then growing from there. And I think that really shows the power of collaboration over competition. So many times we silo ourselves, right? Thinking that, hey, I don't want to lose maybe $1 or two or something, so I'm gonna keep it to myself. But Jose was said, hey, yeah, no problem, put it up there. And then you started collaborating with others, and now that's how we continue fostering that sense of building culture, community, building cultural community capital with everybody. And then another thing that you just mentioned right now was the vulnerability of like really kind of connecting with your roots, connecting with your cultura. I think a lot of folks that are out there might have that same issue. They might have that issue where like, hey, you know what? I don't speak Spanish, right? Or well, I grew up on this side of town, and I didn't, grow this and that. But I think it's always time. It's always the best time to start now to get connected to your cultura. I think there's never too late to do that. Find the history, find those stories, and find out how you can progress it so that your history isn't erased. What do you sense Taco Gear can accomplish when it comes to that? Because I know that we talk about funny sayings, right, slogans and this and that, but ultimately, what do you hope that Taco Gear does do to promote the cultura through your T-shirts and caps and so forth?
That's a good question. I think it's well through some of the videos and the stories being told of the people, right? It always goes back to the people, but I think it's funny because I've been in other places where we'll like recognize that someone's wearing it, but when they wear it, because of those conversations that start between like the stranger or whatever, and they mention that place, sometimes it's a place that they never would have gone to because maybe it's on the side of town they don't want to go to. But when that person's like, oh, you gotta try the whatever it is that they're recommending, they'll go try it. It's those barriers of like, this doesn't look like a brick and mortar that's in a commercial looking area. This is a rundown place. Most people wouldn't go to it on their own unless they were taken there by somebody else. But I think it's those conversations that lead to people trying things that they never tried before. And I think it's also looking at those things differently. And honestly, there's been a lot of, Netflix is releasing all those there's so many documentaries out there now, and all those really focus on the people too. So I think commercially, all these large companies that have a lot of funding are trying to tell more stories that connect with people, and they're forcing these stories on the people. But in all those Netflix documentaries, Taco Chronicles, all that stuff, they're focused on the person. So you're going to learn about those people in Oaxaca, who it's called the one where like they have one of the largest concentrated areas of people that live over 100. And it's because of the food that they don't eat all the crap that we're eating. But how can we not watch those things and how can that not resonate? Because literally 80% of the documentary was about the person and the location, and then there was the food. So I think that helps a lot.
I love that you said that because it is about the people. I think every person that's been up here on stage has success on their own right, but they owe it all to the community and to the people that they've learned from and the community that they serve. And I think that's kind of the common thread that I've noticed, at least all of you I've spoken to, how important that community is and how important it is sharing the stories of people. Clothes, food, gear, that's great, but it's really the people it's representing and the stories behind that really resonates. So the next kind of portion that I want to talk about now is kind of growing and maybe a reflection of how that cultura is resonating, how it can be better, how you're doing your part where you're at. I know Jose's in the state level. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Viene, I wanted to ask you. You've been writing books and doing the work that you've done as a cocinera for quite a while now. You're doing fantastic work. What growth have you seen locally here in Corpus Christi that tells you that is a testament, if you will, to the work that you've done?
So much growth. I think before it wasn't so. It was always like sharing the food, but then when people started sharing the stories, Elena started having pop-ups. She would invite all local businesses, old women. I was at her very first pop-up, I remember, and it was so hot, and I was just selling cookbooks like crazy. And I remember telling her, "This is amazing. This is what we need. We need to have a place that highlights local businesses, small businesses, people that are doing the same thing we are, that also focus on sharing our culture and our heritage." And I've seen such a growth. I mean, just in this, Elena's creating this magical space. Gerald with his work, his stories, his taco. Me with the recipes. I think there's been more growth than there was back in the day. So.
Well, no, that's fantastic to see, and I think I wanted to. It's funny that you mentioned the pop-ups because that was actually going to be my next question to Elena. Elena, I know that you are a huge promoter of supporting local. In fact, I remember the first time that I came over here, I was so enamored with your phrase that I asked you, "Hey, would you want to collaborate?" You said no, and and the reason for that, and I completely get that because she you own it, you copyright it, right? The phrase, but it's so important to you to make sure that it's done the right way. And you had just met me, and even now she probably wouldn't let me. See, but I think the most important part of that is that well, there you okay. Now we're talking. And that's actually good. That's actually good. Always get what you deserve. All right, y'all. Place value. Yes, that's everything has value. Okay, but I wanted to talk about that and how that helped maybe spread the cultura, spread the awareness, the awareness of what you were doing, but also the awareness of local business. I know that's really important for you, especially because you saw firsthand the barriers that you faced, and you said, you know what? Okay, I'm not gonna go through there, but I'm also going to share my platform now and share with other folks and help them grow, as you did with VNA, to come over there, sell cookbooks. What led to that, and how is that kind of giving you a glimpse as to how Corpus Christi as a whole has moved from those days?
I moved here in 2001 to pursue higher education, and I got my bachelor's and my master's from being in Corpus. And everybody that I graduated with left because there's nothing here in Corpus as far as jobs and growth. It's an old city, if you will. There's old money, there's old people, they're retired here. It's huge, it's very that, right? And so I knew that I didn't want to leave. I loved it here because it was small, it was as big as San Antonio, it's really awesome, and definitely not as big as Dallas. When I moved here, I was like, this is the longest highway I've ever driven in. You know what I mean? So, and then I found out there's like 12 HEBs around the surrounding area, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't get it. So we always and so anyway, my point to that shop is we wanted to have a little bit of a cultural color in Corpus Christi. And sometimes we get people come in and they say they're so thankful that this even exists, that this even here, that they feel like they're at home. And that's what I wanted to do was create a space, a community, and culture. And we want you to feel like you're at home. We want you to feel like it's your tia's house, and you have your abuelita stove here, and the techo over there is like Bonita in Oaxaca. And so we wanted to make sure that the growth is happening. And I like to think that we're a part of that growth, especially when it comes to the cultural aspect of it, of Mexican American, of Tex-Mex, of Hispanic. And we wanted to make sure that when we first started, to support small and local businesses, it's a big, big deal, especially after COVID. When COVID hit, businesses were a lot of, and a lot of businesses didn't recover from that. But we opened right after COVID. Well, COVID's still around, but after the pandemic, we opened our store, and even that was very scary, but we were able to do it with the idea that culture and community is the backbone. It always will be.
Big round of applause for that. Gerald, you've seen this firsthand, obviously being partner there with Elena, with the growth. How would you describe the growth of Corpus through those years, especially maybe even with the pandemic? I mean, Elena touched on it. So many businesses went down. How did that decision came about that y'all said, hey, we're going to go ahead and do this? And how has that led to kind of maybe, becoming this cultural icon of a shop here in Corpus Christi?
That's a good question. There's some stuff that she didn't touch on also.
Hold on, before you say anything, I just want to make it known that in this shopping center, all the businesses are here are local. They're all locally owned. And women owned.
Oh, really? Oh, big round of applause for the shopping plaza. All right. Wow. Yeah. No, but that's amazing. That's a great testament to maybe I'm assuming it's on purpose. It just happened that way. Well, even better then. That's even better. That's no, because that just goes to show that hey, we they're going they're doing their part to make sure that they support local businesses and women-owned business especially. But Gerald, go ahead and touch on that if you will.
What was the question again?
Well, so I know that Elena mentioned like the pandemic and how difficult it was. Many businesses actually went down, and then afterwards, you still opened your shop. That must have been really difficult and kind of had a lot of trust in yourselves to make that happen.
Yeah, so I think one of the things I want to touch on that she didn't mention is kind of like, so there's big risk takers, right? There's people that go all in right away. Big risk takers. That wasn't really us. What she didn't mention was that first shop that she opened up was only on the weekends. So it was only Fridays from 3 to 6, Saturday, and then Sunday. While she still worked a full-time job. She asked her boss, can I leave early on Fridays if I come in early the rest of the week? She didn't mention any of that. She would go in early, 7 o'clock in the morning, all week, so she could leave early Friday to go work the shop, because we were like, well, we can't quit our jobs yet, you know what I mean? Because this shop isn't making any money, and there's certain ethnicities that can do that. We didn't have the funds or the supports or the backings to do that, so we had to do it the way we did it. But when she did it, it was a lot of hard work. And the reason I mention that is because I think it's important for people to understand that sometimes you have limitations. It's okay to work through those and figure that out. You have to go in early to work, but you have to work a lot more, and you're just gonna have to work a lot more, right? So
for a year, I did that.
She did that for a whole year.
7 days straight.
Right, and then she said, because it was a 500 square foot space, it was very small. And then after I saw, like halfway through, how busy that place was, and then we talked about, should we just open up a bigger place, and should I quit my job? I said, yeah, there's a lot of people that keep coming here. So yeah, like you should. So that's what she did. And then I did that later too. But even during the pandemic, before that, because she would do these huge pop-up markets 3 times a year. They were called Look After Local. She trademarked that too. And we would have people come into one of the businesses downtown. It was an outdoor-indoor market, and it was fun. It was great. There was a whole the vibe you get in here was also over there. but and that's what she built. So we did that. Well, then the pandemic, and people would love our pop-ups. Vendors would love them too because we took the responsibility of, okay, we're going to charge vendors a fee, which is something I kind of want to touch on real quick. There's a lot of pop-ups out there, a lot of people that organize pop-ups, but a lot of them don't take on the responsibility of if I charge X for a vendor spot, I better bring them some customers. I don't need to get. I mean, yeah, this spot holds 50 vendors, and I'm going to make so much money. But are you going to bring the amount of people needed for all these vendors to make the money that they need to make? So our responsibility was, okay, we're only have X amount of vendors, but we need sponsors so we can push Facebook ads and we can push so we can bring people in, and we there's a lot on our shoulders to bring people to spend money to all these vendors. So that was a big thing that she did in the city. So a lot of those vendors need a lot of pop-up vendors. That's all they do. So on the farmers market, everything, that's all they do. So when they couldn't do that, Elena figured out how can we do it online. So we did 2 or 3 of them. Local for local curbside. So we built a website. We had vendors on it. We had 36 hours to shop. Every vendor had their own page on the website. You had 36 hours to shop, and then give us 24 hours, and then you would pick up all your items from, it was like a 2-hour window at a local business. We had walkie-talkies and food, bags were numbered. Vendors came at different time spots in the mornings to load the bag, like bag number 1, that was your order. So it was a whole thing. One seamless checkout, right, online, and then it was our job to figure out where it all goes. So when this person comes, drives up, and is like, I'm here to pick up my order, it's number 806. Walkie-talkies, put my mom, my sister, everybody, put everybody to work. And they would come, and they would also, we did the Egg and Myers barbecue here. They were able to order food online as well in advance. So Egg and Myers had the food ready. The person would drive, not wait more than 30 seconds, and then everything they bought would come out and drive out. So we were able to, I'm trying to remember the numbers, but like in that 36-hour shopping window, I think it was like 12,000, 16,000, 19,000, collectively for everyone that wouldn't have made money at all because the whole world was shut down. So she figured out a way to do that, and I think that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, big round of applause right there. Yeah. I want to touch on a couple things. First of all, I want a partner that talks about me the way Gerald talks about Elena. I'm crushing. Or that might be anniversary talk. I don't know. He's very. But more importantly, though, I mean, it's just testament to Ponte las pilas, right? There's a sticker over there that we really don't have the the privilege of waiting. Folks like ourselves, we really got to think about it. Get on it. And if something like the pandemic happens or something else happens, we got to think on the hustle. We got to think on the fly, create opportunities, and it's really amazing. I mean, when you say loca for local, it's you really. It's not just a sticker that you did. You actually put that into effect when you did those pop-ups, because there must have been a ton of businesses that needed that help that otherwise wouldn't have had that help unless you had that pop-up. And to have that kind of support, it really means a lot. I know you, Jose, for Texas Monthly, wrote about So Bonita, did a piece there. I know that you've been here a few times. Can you tell us a little bit about what really drove you to write that piece and to talk about that, and why even having this pop up here? Because look, we've had pop ups now for Jose's book at tattoo shops, taquerias. We have a coffee shops lined up. We are going local, and when we talked about Corpus Christi, Jose was like, "I already know the spot," and I already knew, but he really reinforced. I already know the spot. I'll talk to them. So tell us a little bit more about why it was so important to be here, but also why you decided, hey, I want to make a write up about So Bonita because there's a story there.
So my job, really, like I said earlier, is about writing about the people. And we have our own costumes. For example, all this nice the embroidery blouse that Vienna is wearing very well. And then all these hats and these shirts, it becomes part of our culture. And the people who make those items deserve to be featured just as much as the people who make tortillas. As a matter of fact, the first shirt I got is now a hat, and it says Abuelita's Tortilleria. That shirt no longer fits me because I have a body by tacos, which is another hat and a shirt. And I see myself as a conduit for these stories. No one has to talk to me. I do this job by the grace of others. But I try my best to tell these stories, and why not tell stories from every corner of that aspect?
I can definitely appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jose, because obviously you're a taco editor. But yeah, go right ahead, Lena. No, please. No, go right ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for even pitching the idea of featuring Bonita. My dad has been subscribing to Texas Monthly since I was a little girl, and I remember looking at the pictures, and I don't know why he subscribes to it because I remember him telling me, and I was like, okay, and then I was like looking at the pictures of his house and his stories, and I was like, I don't know who this is at. It's not in Eagle Pass, Texas.
Right.
And then when I got featured in it, it really was full circle, right? And so here I was, this little brown girl from Eagle Pass, Texas, being featured in Texas Monthly, one of the biggest publications in Texas, and probably state U.S. Because I had, as a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, I had a little old lady come to the shop with this article ripped in her purse. This was last year. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so I don't know where she was from, like Oregon or something specific of it. It's still resonating with people. And thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my honor. And so she's right. One of the things that I used to tweet at Texas Monthly way before I got this job was, you have problems with brown people. And so when I pitch print stories that aren't about food, I want to see us in those pages. So the first story like that I pitched was about a young man who is a piñatero. It was the first time that an urban Latino was featured in the print magazine. And I was so proud of that. That's the article that I'm most proud of from 2022.
That's a big round of applause for Jose for making sure that we get highlighted in these stories. And I think that's really what we'll start wrapping it up. I really appreciate everybody, spending time with us, telling our stories, but really kind of having a unifying thread, talking about community, talking about cultura, and how much we really need each other. Again, I'm going to go back. A lot of people, they compete versus collaborate. And I think, this is a beautiful example of collaboration, right? Even, for the Genesis, when you were on his platform, that's how you met VNA. Then, Elena, you were together, and then Jose comes around full circle, and now Elena's up there. Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of it when we see the power of collaboration, the power of community and the power of creating that cultural capital amongst ourselves. And so, I wanted to finish off by just talking about American tacos and maybe just kind of getting, everybody's opinion. Not that, putting you on the spot, whether you read the book or not, but I know you've read reviews. I know you've read Jose's work and so forth. I wanted to see maybe, give Jose your best worst review. In other words, maybe there's been a time when Jose maybe didn't get it right. Maybe, it was a shirt, maybe it was a place. There's a point to all this. But tell us maybe, what is your best taco place here in Corpus Christi? Gerald. Putting you on the spot.
I mean, he came and we went to two of them and he didn't do well those. It depends on what kind you're looking for, right?
Okay.
That's what we tell everybody else when tourists come in here. We're like, "What's your favorite taco place?" What do you want?
They're closed.
You
Go
know,
there too.
yeah. Because some people are great at things and not others. Okay, so my favorite breakfast taco is a place here called Southside Bajacoa. But they wrote about it as well. I'm usually kind of simple with my stuff, but I do a chorizo and bacon and potatoes. Oh.
There you go, yeah.
But the reason I do that is because the potatoes soaks up the chorizo. And then
Of course.
that's it. Science, yes. There's a place here called Taco Bar Street. Also, is probably one of my solid favorite places because they're always pretty spot on all the time, and we always taste like the one in my older where Abuelita makes.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Taco Bar Street for providing tacos today for everybody that was here. Thank you so much. That's good. Elena, you're on the clock now. You're on the spot.
Same Southside Bajacoa.
No. Okay.
My favorite taco is bean cheese, and I feel like that's kind of hard to mess up unless you can.
We've- Taco. Yeah, we've had our fair share of bad pita cheese.
But that's like wherever I go, I'm gonna get bean cheese. And so 9 out of 10 times, it's pretty good.
Okay.
And when I was in high school, I was a cheerleader, and when we go to the pep rallies, my dad always made bean cheese tacos for me. Packed them up in foil, put them in my gym bag. And so after the pep rally, I was eating tacos. That was my thing, bean cheese tacos forever.
Nice. Viene, what are your favorite tacos here in Corpus?
But carne asada. I love the carne asada, but I'm also a hi-ho girl, and I love their suicide taco from hi-ho.
Oh wow! Describe the suicide taco for those.
Cheddar cheese, but it's the tortilla, and it's a meal. It's breakfast and lunch.
Sounds like breakfast and lunch, y'all.
But that's my favorite right now. I go through phases.
Selena's favorite place
Yes,
too.
yes.
We have to shout out
Yes, we have to shout
Of
out.
course.
to the homegirl.
Yes, and we have everybody is welcomed here to the store except one person. Elena, who is that one person? That's right. You're not. In fact, if you're watching the podcast right or watching the video, you need to turn it off. You're not allowed to watch this either. Go ahead, Jose.
What?
Jose? What are your favorite? What is your favorite spot here in Corpus Christi? Or name a few because I don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt.
Southside, obviously.
Southside, yeah.
I really appreciate Taco Bar being here. I had them once before, and I was really impressed. So I knew that as a local business, it was important for me to have them here for some fun. Chachos,
Chachos.
because I get to watch our lovely moderator here, who we should all thank. Everyone, please clap.
Thank you. Yes.
Who tried the challenge and failed spectacularly.
Explain the challenge for those who don't know.
So the challenge is a 15-inch tortilla in diameter. 14-inch. I'm sorry. It's a 14-inch tortilla in diameter. They lay beans, rice, carne guisada, bacon, cheddar, and I mean I'm talking about like pounds of this stuff.
Basically everything they said.
And then they fold it into a big taco. And I guess I'll tell. I mean, I was very confident. No, I was. No, because I looked at it and I said, I can finish this. I can. I really can. And so I'll make it very quick, very brief. I was like maybe like halfway through, and then the lady goes, "Okay, 2 minutes left," and I said, "Whoa, whoa, where did the time go?" Because
You were yapping the entire time.
I was. Okay, so now I know going forward that I have to be eating the whole time. And in fact, you know what? I'll do it now. I'm gonna do it this weekend, and I'm gonna win. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the chacho. Yeah, I'm gonna do the challenge. Yes. I'm gonna do the challenge, and this time I know I'm not gonna stop because last time I was cocky, I was not humble, and the taco gods slammed me down. I was very humbled, yes. But I like to say I thought I ate about 80%, 80 to 85% of the taco.
I wasn't counted because I was laughing. But I will be live streaming that.
Well, Jose, I wanted to just share one story very quick about you and really the power community, and I wanted to end it off here because y'all all mentioned Southside Barbacoa, and Jose and I had he took me over there for the first time over there, and we walked in and. Jose didn't go in there and announce himself. He doesn't do that. He doesn't go in there and tell people, "Oh, I'm Jose Rola. Hey, this and that." Even though his article was literally in a case right there written. Super proud. So we walked into this restaurant. Jose, we sit down. They don't recognize him. They definitely don't recognize me. They say, "Hey, what do you want?" We order the tacos. Tacos are phenomenal. And I'm always I always give Jose his flowers. I'm always upping him. I told the lady came down and she was talking and I said, well, Jose actually wrote that article right there. And the lady said, "Oh, really?" And she goes, "Oh, you're Jose Relat." He goes, "Yeah. Well, we spoke before, before that article, right?" And of course Jose says, "Yeah." And she said, I have to tell you, we were literally on the verge of maybe not making it." And she shared that yes, the barbacoa is good, but you wrote about the carne guisada taco, and she said that people just came in droves, and they had to make more carne guisada tacos. They had to make more this and that. And she says, "Oh my God, I hated it at first." but Jose, I mean, for all intents and purposes, saved that, and they were in a downturn at that point, and they were able to come back up. And I think that's the power of sharing those stories. Because yes, it's a good taco. Yes, it was, but people read it and they heard the story, and that was really what drove people to say, "Hey, I want to support a local entity. I want to support local. I'm loca for local. I am going to go to this taqueria and let them know that what I like your tacos too, and I want to support and make sure that your business continues."
But that wasn't me. That was them. I was just putting their food into words. I wasn't doing
That's understood. That's understood. But again, when we have platforms, we can decide what we do with those platforms, right? And who we spotlight with those platforms. Same thing with So Bonita. She just shared, but Elena just shared that a lady in Oregon had the article there. So yes, maybe you don't, create this storefront, but at the very least, you share the stories of the community where people are going to get to know that. And I think that's why it's so critical. Exactly. Oh, please use the mic.
I'm a huge advocate of making sure our story is mainstream. Why would my story not be on Southern Living, Texas Monthly, Better Homes and Gardens? So I also very like Jose. A no to me is maybe later. I pitch myself all the time. I want my frijoles in Southern Living. I want my agua de Jamaica on in Texas Monthly, and I want my Abuelita, my Tias, Elena's, Gerald's, everyone's story to be mainstream because our stories are just as important as everyone else's.
Woo! I love that, and I think that's why that's the way you said mainstream. That was a mic drop. I almost just went, okay, bye, y'all. That's but seriously, that I love that you said that because that's, I mean, when you read the book here, it doesn't say Mexican American tacos. It doesn't say Latino tacos. It says American tacos because we are part of this country of America, regardless of how flawed it may be sometimes. But it is our country, and we live here, and I love it, and we make the best of it. And I think what you just said right now, VNA, was so important that we are part of that fabric. We are that part of that mainstream. Before we end off, I want to go ahead and just start with Gerald. Please, if you want any final thoughts, and you can also add where they can find your taco gear on Instagram. Anything you want to share, where they can go ahead and contact you or your products, merchandise.
Yeah, sure. Well, I just want to thank you guys for being here. This is great. That's fun. So thank you. And good luck with the panel, by the way. I'm really looking for. Please live stream it. I want to watch. Text me when you're about to do it. By the way. You can find everything on tacogear.com, and then the web series that I'm really proud of is thetacochair.com. You could find that as well and watch all those. We've done 5 seasons, I think. Yeah, 5 seasons. I think 5 seasons. So yeah, check that out, and thank you.
Fantastic. Round of applause for Gerald Flores. Elena, please share where folks can find So Bonita online.
You can find Bonita at bonita.com and here at the physical store, 4719 Bonita.
Sweet B, Sweet B. Not Sweet A, not Sweet C, Sweet B. Fantastic. Round of applause for Elena, please. VNA, thank you so much for coming here, being part of the group. I know it was last second, but I mean, what a fantastic idea by Gerald to include you in the group, because we wanted to make sure we represented Corpus Christi to the fullest, and I couldn't think of somebody better than yourself to be here. La Mera Mera Cocinera. Please let folks know where they can find you online.
Thank you so much for inviting me. So great. You can find me all across every platform on Sweet Life Bake. I'm also at sweetlifebake.com, and then I'm also the food editor at the Texas Co-op Power magazine. So you can find a bunch of my recipes on there, and I'm always on social. I'm always sharing. So you'll find me everywhere across at Sweet Life Bake.
Fantastic. Round of applause for VNA. And Jose, if you could share your social media so that people can find you and talk shit to you.
A lot of people do. And that's fine. I don't have anything to lose with that. But it is at Taco Trail Official, or just at Taco Trail, and at TexasMonthly.com and Texas Monthly Magazine. I have a column every other month featuring one dish and all of its history and all of the people behind it. Yeah, so that's it. And probably Instagram's the best, because that's where I post the most, and you'll see me do really dumb things like live stream.
I should have never said that.
Rodrigo's challenges.
Is this your book?
This is his book, yeah.
There's a big old grease thing.
No, that's not my book. I mean, I guess maybe no. That's one of my personal copies.
Every single one of my taco t-shirts. Yes.
Well, I really appreciate y'all coming on here and sharing y'all stories. Thank you so much for making time here. American Tacos is the book. These are copies that are available now, but the second edition will be released on paperback. We want to thank UT Press for making that happen. We'll have a big party in Dallas, right?
And everywhere else.
And then, yes, we're going to go tour. We're touring everywhere again and make sure we make it happen. But make sure you order that. We want to thank a few folks that help with this, sponsoring items and so forth. UT Press, thank you so much for, providing the platform for making the books happen. Taco Bar Street. Taco Bar Street. Thank you for the tacos. Of course, Four Corners Brewery. That's where Jose just shared that he wrote all the books there while he was drunk.
I think it's most of the book, because you can only drink so much.
But we appreciate it, and we have some new fans of Four Corners that we're here talking about, raving about the beer. My favorite is Local Buzz. That's my favorite. I don't know. Everybody else is drinking different beers, but check them out. Also, want to give thanks to Taco Gear, So Bonita, Sweet Life Bake, and thank you so much, Nuestra Palabra as well. I'm a producer there with Nuestra Palabra. We are having a revamp and a relaunch for our website. Check out nuestrapalabra.org in May. We're having a huge website, big portal, and also an e-commerce site for selling books, for selling items, for featuring folks. It's really a big deal. I want you to go out there. We received a grant from the BIPARK Art and Network Fund from the Houston Endowment. Really appreciate the help from there. And outside of that, thank y'all so much for being with us. Please catch us on the podcast or on 90.1 KPFT with us. So, Eric, go ahead.
Thank you.
There you go. Thank you very much. Hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.